I published something today that I've been not publishing for about 3 years. Not drafting and deleting, not almost ready. Just not really saying. Carrying around like something I wasn't sure I had permission to put down in public. The piece is called The Root System, and the short version is I finally said out loud that everything I teach about selling, that trust first framework, the refusal to use urgency, the reciprocity model, doesn't come from a coaching philosophy I developed. It comes from being Cherokee. That's not a sentence that's difficult for me to say in private. Of course, I say it to my husband. I say it to clients I trust. I say it to friends. But in public brand positioning, how I've described sacred sales, I've been presenting the branches without naming the root. And I've been teaching other people not to do exactly that. So that's what it cost me to write it. And what I want to say in this note, the part that didn't make it into the essay, is what the holding back actually felt like. It wasn't fear exactly. It was something more like reading the room preemptively before anyone had even walked in. There's this thing I wrote about in The Day I Stopped Shrinking Dragonflies, becoming strategically tolerable. It's editing yourself into something acceptable before anyone asks you to. Like wearing a crown made of compromise, like it's yours. I only diagnosed that pattern in myself in 2025. And then I kept doing it with the most load-bearing part of my identity. That's the thing about our blind spots. We don't miss them because we're not smart enough to see them. We miss them because we've been protecting something. And protection that old gets really quiet. It stops feeling like protection and starts feeling like just how things are. What finally moved me was this. I've been building a context compound for my AI setup. And if you're in my community, AICC, you probably know what I'm talking about. And part of that process was blind spot auditing. And the audit named it. It named, she's been presenting the branches without the root system. And I read that line and I just sat with it for a minute because it was true and I had written it, which meant some part of me had known. So the root system piece exists now. And this audio field note exists because I wanted you to hear what it's like the day after you say the true thing. It's a little quiet. Not a bad kind of quiet. More like the kind after something settles. My nervous system isn't doing the thing it does when I've posted something that cost me more than it was worth. There's no scanning for reaction, no bracing. It's just still. And that's how I know it was right. So if you read the root system and something in it landed, I'd be really glad to hear from you. Not to collect validation, but just because I'm genuinely curious what it named for you. And if it brought up something about your own work, something you've been presenting as a framework when it's actually something older, something you've lived, I'd be glad to talk about that too. So DM me. I'm a real human. No funnels, no follow-up sequence, just a conversation. This is the voice of the wild one signing off for now.